All right, welcome to the Let It Fly show. I am Michael Severe, joined by my partner Josh Jones from Central High School, where I just was for Parent-Teacher Conference, and Creighton, where I will never be.
I respect that.
My youngest said to me, he goes, you know, it wouldn't be bad for me to go from Central right up the hill to Creighton.
All you gotta do is call me.
As long as you get a scholarship, you can go wherever you want. You can go wherever you want.
My mom said that too.
Welcome to, and you got it. Yeah. Welcome to the Let It Fly show. We are inside, of course, the wonderful sports bar known as Let It Fly in the Capital District. Of course, there is a Elkhorn version or a West version as well you can check out. But this is the place to come to get a little bit upscale sports bar. Can we call it that?
Elevated.
Elevated. And we are definitely elevated.
Yeah, for sure.
Because we're on the second floor.
We're on the Sky Bar.
We're in the Sky Bar. That's where we are. Brought to you always by Bud Light. If you like hanging out at the Let It Fly Sports Bar, maybe you go over to Josh's house. Can I come watch the game? And Josh's like, come on in.
Come through.
And then you're sitting there, and you know what you do? You have a Bud Light. You enjoy volleyball, basketball, football, baseball. Everything's going on right now. Hockey started. Preseason NBA. Everything's going on right now.
Right.
Easy drinking, easy buckets, easy spikes, easy touchdowns, easy to drink, and easy to enjoy. This
is what
doesn't
I've been
exist on the
by.
menu. So this is what they had this for a while. It was the flight. It's the wing flight.
Yep.
Gives you a little bit of everything, whether it's a chipotle sriracha or if it's the buffalo or the dry rub or the honey or the teriyaki, whatever. It's a little bit of everything.
Right.
And they did it for us.
Amen.
But it gives you an example of what they do in terms of wings. And on Wednesday, $1 Wednesdays.
$1 Wednesdays.
Alliteration.
You cannot beat that.
No, you can't. Would you try one?
Yeah, I will. But
which one would you try if you had one pick? I mean, two questions I have for you. First question: drums or flats?
No, growing up, I was a drum guy, but being older, I like all flats.
I'm an all flat guy. My wife likes drummies. I like flats. Good couple.
To be real, they're equal to me.
I agree with you. I think sometimes the drummy isn't done well enough. The flat, I think, always is.
For sure.
Because it's less, if you fry it longer. Yeah. So out of those flavors, your go-to is lemon pepper.
That's
correct?
my go-to. But looking at this.
Yeah, what would you hit?
I would probably hit that on the end. What's that right there?
That's a dry rub.
The dry rub.
The dry rub looks good.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm not a big teriyaki guy, bro. Can you believe that?
Just by itself, I'm with you.
By itself, I'm not.
There is another bar in town that is known for double saucing.
Okay.
And one of the things they make is a hot garlic and teriyaki.
Damn.
Together.
That do sound good.
It's really good. I'm going to take this one here.
But I'm just saying, like, I'm not a teriyaki by itself guy. Like,
I'm with you. You know that crunch?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm gonna get down off camera. When we come back, this probably gonna be gone.
Right. I eat on camera because I want people to know
that it hit.
We just don't talk about this because we're doing the podcast here.
No, it's really like that.
We don't just say it's good because we're doing a podcast here.
I promise you.
This is an excellent wing.
Phenomenal.
Remember, Wednesdays.
$1
wings.
You don't get no better advertisement than this right here.
Man, this is a good wing. So it's just called dry rub? Yeah. No other barbecue dry rub.
Barbecue dry rub.
Man, that ain't no joke. I'm gonna save it right there.
For sure.
I'm gonna save it right there.
Yep.
I'm gonna stick on. My mother would crack this thing in half, and she would eat the stuff out of the inside.
It's Southern, bro.
She would kill it.
My dad did too. And then I started doing it.
There was a place here a long time ago called. Did you ever go to J. Coco?
I haven't.
It was over on Leavenworth.
Okay.
Near where I live, next to a bookstore, and she made this bone marrow stuff. And it was like butter. It tasted incredible. And it would come with this homemade bread, and you would dip it in there. And it was,
man,
it felt like you were breaking some sort of law. I'm not joking. It was
respect.
so good. You're like, you had to kill somebody
to get this.
Right?
Yeah, right.
But it was incredible. It was very good. Huskers off this week.
Yep.
Doesn't matter.
No.
There's so much sports going on.
Right.
There's so much sports going on.
Hey, what season is it when it's like ESPN 12, 8, stuff like that, and they got these running upstairs tournaments and all these unorthodox
like the
sports.
off season? That's ESPN the Ocho time.
Okay.
When ESPN the Ocho
we ain't on that time.
We're not in the Ocho right now. We're in everything. Right. So just volleyball, Nebraska volleyball plays Friday and Saturday.
That's going to be cool.
Creighton plays Friday and Saturday. They play Villanova and St. John's.
Yep.
Nebraska plays Purdue and Rutgers.
Right.
Then all day Saturday.
Yep.
And this, Actually, this is my favorite Saturday when Nebraska's off because I can spend more time watching everything opposed to really concentrating on Nebraska.
For sure.
And so you got games all day from 11 a.m. where you have the Big Ten game of the week, which is on Big Fox, all the way to 9:15.
Yeah,
Kansas State, Colorado.
You know I'm watching that.
That ends your night for the most part.
Which everybody going is Prime. Is he like strategic towards TV or what?
No, so here's what it is. They're a Pac-12 school.
Right. The West Coast is
so the Pac-12 used to always have Pac-12 late at night.
Word.
So now, and actually those teams are starting to complain about it. Some of the Big 12 teams are complaining about it because they don't want to play that late.
Word.
So if you're from Kansas State,
cool,
and you're playing at 9:15,
right? I
know they're kids, and it doesn't really matter what time, but I don't want to be playing at 9:15.
Yeah.
I want to play during the day.
Okay.
And so Kansas State's going to play Colorado. It's actually going to be 8 o'clock there because it's mountain time.
Yeah.
But that's the late game. In the middle, you have Ohio State, Oregon.
That's going to be crazy.
Just a great game. Penn State, USC.
That's even crazier.
It's good, man. It's a good day of football.
We name dropping these Power Fives.
Yeah.
So there was a kid, and I don't want to misquote what team. I want to say it might have been Miami, but my father-in-law hit me and was like, hey, man, there's somebody else out here, quarterback that's like that. He can be in the running for Heisman too. Is he like that?
He is. He turns the ball over too much.
Okay.
So he came.
Is it because he like Jameis Winston, just a lot of throws? Or
he
what?
does try to force the ball, and he believes in his arm. So at the lower level, he turns it over a lot. So you knew when he got to Miami, he would do that.
Okay.
But against Cal, they're down 18, 21, something like that.
25.
And they came back, and then Cal still scored, and he managed to come back. They scored 28 points in the fourth quarter to come back and win that game 39-38.
That's video game like.
And he played great. But one of the reasons why they were in a mess because he was throwing some picks.
Oh, okay.
So he's got to stop turning the ball over.
Yeah,
but they're right now. They did a survey on ESPN. Who's going to be the number one quarterback taken? And 5 different out of everybody that voted, 5 different people got votes. 5 different quarterbacks got votes to be the number one overall guy.
You know them all?
Well, Shakur for sure. Shador for sure. Milroe from Alabama.
He's nice.
Cam from Miami.
Yep.
Who else is there? Georgia quarterback Carson Beck. And then who was the 5th one? I know Carson Beck was
in the midst of that.
Yeah.
In the draft, has it been like how many quarterbacks have been taken in the top 10? Like the
most ever was last year.
Okay. That's
6.
what I'm saying. That's
6
what
was the most ever. And so now none of these quarterbacks, the reason why it's 5 is because nobody believes any of them is really the number one. Right? There's a lot of it's not like last year where you had a bunch of guys who were debating, is Caleb Williams the best guy? Who obviously has been playing okay.
Right.
Was Jalen Daniels the best guy? Who's been playing really well.
Right.
And then you got Drake May was in that discussion too. Will be starting this week for the first time for the Patriots.
Right.
So you do have a lot of guys. The class next year is not the same level, but there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
So we'll figure it out. They'll figure it out during the offseason.
That's what's up.
How it goes. Food dish of the week I mentioned wings. Remember, you come up here Wednesdays. $1 wings, and then on Thursday nights they have the steak thing.
Right.
We eat the steak and French fries, which is really good.
My night.
Really, really good. Yeah. And a lot of other things going on. Speaking of that. For Saturday, where it's college day, right? College watch party. And Sunday, which is the NFL watch party. On both of those days, they have a lot of specials.
Yes.
Drink specials, food specials. Check all those out as well. Just go to the website.
Yes.
And check it on out.
Yep.
Our guest this week is Husker commit Caden Vermaas. He is an athlete. Of course, he's athletic. Right. But he's an athlete. So he plays both on defense and offense. I believe, and we'll ask him this.
Is this the era of the two-way players in football?
No, you know what these athletes are? They're just guys that are tweeners and nobody can figure out. So they put athlete on him. I think, and we'll ask him when he gets here, I think he's probably a offensive player.
Word.
But we'll see what he wants to do.
Yep, because we thought X-Watts was an offensive player.
Yeah, I did. There's no doubt. I thought that kid was a wide receiver. In the country. I watched X-Watts play corner, though, against Xavier Betts. That was incredible. That game. Now, Betts killed him. Betts got him. Betts got him on a double move, and I remember looking over, and I saw Damon, and I was like,
but Betts was like that. Bro.
He was like that.
Yeah,
when he was dedicated, he was committed. He was so good.
Yeah.
Headlines.
My guy.
I mentioned Nebraska bye week. After 6 games, sitting at 5-1. Man. You have an opportunity. I'm giving you an opportunity. I'm giving you a mulligan. So they're at 5-1. There's 6 games left.
Thank you.
Would you like to alter?
Yes.
Based off of the remaining 6 games, what you think they will be?
Give me the rundown.
I will.
All right.
Indiana after the bye week at Indiana.
Okay.
Then they go to Ohio State.
Ooh.
Then they come home for UCLA.
Okay.
Have another bye. Then go to USC. Come home for Wisconsin. And they finish against Iowa. That is your remaining 6 matchups.
So you said they come home against Wisconsin.
Yep, they get Wisconsin at home. They get UCLA at home. The last 2 home games are UCLA and Wisconsin.
I just want to I want to say that they win 2 more out of that whole.
So they win.
bunch.
They beat UCLA and Wisconsin?
Yes, sir.
So I'm interested in seeing what USC looks like on Saturday.
You know what? I'm giving one more.
Okay.
They're gonna be one more of these.
So that would be 8 and 4.
That'd be 8 and 4.
And that's what I picked before the season.
I give them one more.
I thought 8 and 4. Here's
more.
one. The interesting one for me is I want to see how USC matches up against another physical team in Penn State.
And then that'll help you.
They haven't necessarily. So they played against Minnesota, who was physical, and they beat them.
Right.
So I'm curious when they play Penn State this week if another physical team, because Nebraska can be physical.
Yes.
Matter of fact, the coach for Rutgers, Greg Schiano, said it was the most physical defensive line he has seen in all of college football.
Right. This might be a random critique.
Uh-huh.
I just want the Huskers defense to do more open field tackles instead of a lot of gang tackles. You know?
Everybody's got to get to the ball. I agree, because you got to remember, there's athletes on the other side of the ball,
That's
and those
right.
guys make plays. And in that first quarter, Monangai had 64 yards.
I know, bro.
And looked great.
Yes.
Second, third, fourth quarter, he had like 13 total.
know.
They started again tackling him and limited him and everything. So
no doubt.
I'm going to go over some of the things that they've improved on already.
Bet.
This is stuff we talked about during the offseason. So from 2023 to 2024, turnovers.
Yes.
Turnover numbers are dramatically different.
Yep.
They're plus 6 right now.
Dang.
They're plus 6 right now.
That's like dramatically different.
So plus 6, 3 interceptions and 1 fumble loss. That's it, right? Last year, remember, 16 interceptions and 15 fumbles lost out of 31 total fumbles.
But now, the fumble problem, I feel like was a skill issue. They had to either walk around class or something. That can be fixed.
Yeah, and a lot of it was Harburg.
Yeah, I think exactly.
Yeah, a lot of them was Harburg.
You got me.
A lot of them was Harburg.
You
and hopefully, it seems like right now you had the 1 fumble in the first game, right? Dowdell's the only fumble they've had, and they lost.
Yeah.
And then the 3 interceptions, 2 of which were really close. One was really bad last week.
One thing I'm going to say before you go on to your points is I like how Coach Rule love and trust his quarterback. On the field, you can literally he treats him like like a player's coach. Like, what's your suggestion? What do you think?
Yeah, they do
this is what I want, but I'm with you.
Yeah. They're tied for first in the Big Ten in turnover margin with Minnesota.
Right.
Sacks, causing havoc and allowing havoc. Last year, Nebraska was almost last in the country in allowing havoc, meaning allowing sacks, allowing fumbles, throwing interceptions.
Yeah. How much is that is on the teams that they actually played that?
No, a lot of it again was on Harburg.
Okay.
A lot of it was on Harburg. Oh, for that side of it.
Yeah.
So Nebraska is doing a better job of creating havoc, I'll tell you. So right now they lead the Big Ten in both sacks and tackles for loss.
Okay.
They lead the Big Ten
That's
in
crazy.
those 2 sacks.
That's crazy.
Last year, Nebraska had 32 sacks for the whole season. Right now they have 20.
Right.
That's pretty good.
Okay.
42 tackles for loss through 6 games. Last year they had a total of 76. So they're on their way to beat both of those.
That. Yeah, right.
They're going to beat
that in the next game.
I don't know about that.
Dang, man, I'm trying to pump them up,
That'd be a lot.
I know I'm trying to pump them up.
Currently, they're 12th in havoc caused. That means getting sacks, causing fumbles, interceptions. And they're 39th in havoc allowed. Last year, they were 129th.
So Coach Rule did his job.
On those things.
Yeah.
Now, on the other side of the coin, let's flip the coin. List of issues.
Right.
Special teams.
Still no good.
Efficiency rankings currently are, depending on which measurement you're looking at, between 121st and 134th.
Right.
134th is last.
I know.
121st, somewhere in there is where they're ranked.
Man, when you say 100-something, you last.
It's not good.
That's last to me.
It's not good.
Oh, yeah.
It's not good.
You ain't dead last, but you last.
Nebraska is averaging 40 yards a punt, which isn't bad.
Yeah.
But it's second from the last in the Big Ten. And why? Because Nebraska is getting to good drives.
Right.
Failing in those good drives and having a punt from their side of the 50-yard or the other side of the 50-yard line.
Okay.
So he doesn't have a lot of room. So he's doing a good job.
Right.
He just doesn't have a lot of room because Nebraska can't finish drives.
Okay.
Also, they're second to last in field goals.
Come on, Tristan Ivano.
And he's not back.
That's
He's
my
been
boy.
injured. He's been injured.
Yeah, that's my
9
boy.
attempts, 4 made so far in the field goal range. The second one is the running back run game.
Okay. Who stepped up for Ivano, and what year is he?
John Rule Hole is his first year at Nebraska. He was at Iowa Western, took a year off. I think he is technically a junior.
Oh, okay.
He could be like
He
one of those
got to knock him down then. Ain't no excuses. Ain't no excuses.
Well, the excuses are bad snaps.
All right.
So you had those bad snaps. You had a bad hole for one. So, he's missed 2 legitimate misses.
All right.
That he can't.
Because of a bad snap.
No. He's missed 2 legitimately.
Oh,
he's missed 3 others where they were blocked or missed because of bad snaps.
Got you. All right.
Running back run game.
Yep.
So we're taking out Ja'Cory Barney or Isaiah Nair or anybody. Just the running backs.
Right.
Right now, 157 carries for 729 yards. That's 4.6 a carry. That's good.
Got you.
But in Big Ten play, in the 3 games they played, they're only averaging 3.7 yards a carry. So almost a full yard less against the good teams they are playing.
Man.
That's not good.
It's not good, brother.
Not good.
It's
Not good. Here's, I mentioned it earlier, huge week, best games. Washington, Iowa, that's at 11.
Yep.
Penn State, USC, 2:30. Texas, OU.
Yeah.
This is a game they always played at 11 or noon.
Yeah.
They're playing it at 2:30. Texas, Oklahoma.
You're going to start seeing Vince Young walk around campus more.
You will see him at the game. Here's the crazy thing about Oklahoma. Their leading receiver is out.
Dang.
All 5 of their leading receivers are out.
Man.
They had one guy left. He got hurt. Ohio State at Oregon is 6:30, and I mentioned to you Kansas State at Colorado is 9:15.
That's going to be fun to watch.
It's going to be a great day.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why I thought we should have wings.
Yes.
Is because it's a wing kind of day.
Right.
You either make yourself, smoke a bunch of wings, go to your favorite wing place, bring them home,
right,
and just gnaw on wings all day while football's going on.
Yeah, I get on Twitter when I watch football because I like to hear what the critics say.
Oh, yeah.
So
second stream.
Yeah, I'm going to be on my phone.
It's incredible because if you think about it, when I was growing up and even when you were growing up, you watched a game and that was all you knew. Yep. Unless they showed a score of another game, that's all you knew. Now, you know every other game and how it's going. You have people commenting about it. Plus, they're putting up live highlights.
Right.
While you're watching your games, you've got this thing on your lap, this second screen that provides everything.
Or you got YouTube TV.
Or YouTube TV, you got the 4-box.
Yeah.
I got 2 TVs in the basement, the 4-box on one game on the other one.
Right.
And then I also have my phone out.
Crazy.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah, it's going to be a good day.
2024, baby. Imagine 2034.
I know, man.
When I'm 65,
you're gonna be able to watch the game from a Oculus headset and feel like you in the game from the quarterback position, hearing them talk.
Here's what they told us. They said I went to a technology
conference.
Soulja
Boy was the first person to FaceTime too.
He was the first person ever to FaceTime?
His video, Kiss Me Through the Phone, he was on FaceTime.
Oh, really?
Yes, he was.
Was it had the Apple phone then, right?
I don't know what it was. It was before we actually had FaceTime.
Before we actually had, okay. So here's the thing. They told us at this technology conference, the cool thing about the Oculus or whatever brand you want to use is that you'll be able to pick whatever seat you want in the arena.
Dang.
Or the stadium.
I'm about to buy it, bro.
And hit that button.
That's my Christmas gift.
This is not yet done.
Oh, okay,
but it'll be broadcast through the stations. You'll be able to watch your game. You're watching an ESPN game, an NBC game, a CBS game, ABC game. You'll have your headset on, and you'll push seat 136, and that's the seat you're watching the game from.
So the garage guys are gone. No more garage hangouts. No more man cave.
Some people still want to interact with others, have their beers, have their wings.
This might be like silent disco. Real dope in the beginning, and then
that is the dumbest thing. I know I'm old. I watched a video of that the other day. I'm like, that's so stupid.
Yeah.
You're all standing around with these headphones on. You can't talk.
And we
listen to different music.
Right.
I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah, I feel you. I did a few silent discos before, and I like people. I want to talk to you.
Exactly.
Yeah, I want to talk.
How do you hit on girls if they can't hear each other?
You can't.
Okay. All right. We'll take a break. We come back. Caden Vermaas, the athlete, both wide receiver, defensive back from Millard North, here on the Let It Fly show.
On a Sunday.
Gotta go. I forgot the sausage. You guys ready? There you go.
On a Sunday.
All right, welcome back to the Let It Fly show. We are joined by Millard North athlete and Husker commit Caden Vermaas joining us here on the Let It Fly show. How's the season going so far?
Season's great. We're 4-2, and we're looking to get a W tomorrow. So
that's good team stuff. How's it going for you?
It's going well. I'm still trying to get the Gatorade Player of the Year thing.
Man.
Still on my way to get that, but
who's in your way?
Jet Tomala.
Man.
He's got about 100 options to throw to, so.
Yeah, so I do the Mr. Football Award. That's something we started with the Jetterod Foundation. Last year was the first year we had it. You're on our midseason watch list.
Sure.
You know, guys like Connor Booth and others that are putting up incredible numbers, but I think you're right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got the
long
answer to
season.
your question.
Yeah.
Play whoever Tay Jenkins is playing against about twice in a row, and you'll get the record.
Is he so? Oh, yeah.
Whoever he's running on like that, it's like they playing like 8 on 11 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, no
You
doubt
got to
about
go to
that.
the line, though, so that's,
yeah.
that's what helps him.
Talk to me about the feel of a kind of a new team. You know, if I've lived here since '02, Millard North was one thing. They were one thing, and we knew exactly what they are.
Yeah.
But this is a different feel. What's it like for you?
It's much different, obviously, because I don't have to block as much. I mean, you have to run a lot more routes now.
Yeah.
You have to, obviously, understand checks and stuff like that. And then defense, that was the biggest thing, like going over coverages and stuff. Like a lot of our guys, because we only ran a cover one man last year. So some guys we had to teach, like deep thirds were, deep half. Like
Zone drops.
we had to start that in the offseason. So it was kind of crazy. But
Wow.
I think where we're at now is just a blessing. I appreciate Coach Burrell and Coach Moaning to where they got us. So, yeah.
You know how hard that is, though, to do that? I mean, that's in one off season.
I mean, the way he described it, like it was tough. Huh?
That's tough, man.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yep.
So I want to know, just off the rip, the guys who don't get credit on your team, who's an unsung hero?
Colin Bogats.
Okay, tell me why.
Because he probably hits the hardest on the team.
Or he hit you the hardest. Which one
No,
is it?
so he's our like fullback.
Okay.
And
Oh,
I
nice.
feel okay because I also felt really bad last week. We were playing Lincoln East, and he jumped over the goal line, and they said he was out, and he only has like 1 or 2 touchdowns in the air because he's one of those guys
Respect.
he just says he's like, give Caden the ball, I'll block for him no matter what. He's a team guy,
Yeah.
team first. And then he goes out there at DN, he just wrecks havoc. So yeah, he just hits like crazy. So
For sure.
yeah.
But fullback needs respect. I'm in the press box every home game for Nebraska, and every time Barrett Liebenship comes in, I'm like, Barrett's in!
Yeah.
So everybody
Big
knows
dog.
the fullback is in,
Yeah.
and he's going to do his job,
Right.
and it's going to work out well for the running back.
sure.
We need more of those. Caden Vermaas joining us here on the Let It Fly show. Talk about peer recruiting, because that is something that is obviously really important for Nebraska, for you once you commit to help get other guys in there. How's that been going for you?
It's pretty good. I think the 25 class is complete. I mean, we're trying Michael Terry right now.
Yeah.
But it's hard to reach out to him. He's one of those guys. So
He's a
He texted me and
5-star,
said,
right?
Yeah,
no,
he's a
stop
five-star.
calling him.
yeah, but
Who dis?
but we got Christian Jones finally.
That was nice.
That took about 4 years. So
Yeah.
we finally got that done, and then we were trying to move on to some of the 26 guys. Like, it's actually funny. I ran into Jace Reynolds last night at Chipotle, just randomly. So
Really?
What do you get from Chipotle,
You weren't
bro?
stalking him.
So actually, it's
Go
funny.
all the way down.
I got
get
that later in
white
the thing.
rice.
I get Chipotle like every day.
I know, but now you got
Really?
to tell us what you get.
So I go white rice,
Yep.
no beans,
Yep.
double steak,
Yep.
fajita veggies, queso, and then I get usually cheese, and then I might get guac.
So I'm
Oh,
trying
you
to
gotta
teach
get
you how to
guac.
get an NIL deal.
Gotta
all
get guac.
So that's
Kinda
why
want-
you know.
that'd be cool, yeah.
Okay, well, say it with your chest. You know.
Can I ask you a quick because a lot of the guys at Nebraska are big Qdoba guys.
Yeah.
What's the difference for you between the two?
Well,
why Chipotle?
I would say,
Please say what I think you're gonna say.
well, here,
Is it closer to your house?
Well, yes, one, yes, but the thing is I will say Qdoba. I'll give them this. They have better queso.
Come on, man. That's
And
what
you don't have to pay for
That's
it.
what I was about to
apparently. That's
say.
what they say.
I
Oh,
don't
you
want
don't
to cut
pay
him
for
off.
it.
I want him
Oh,
to
okay.
speak.
All
But I was
right.
about to say queso.
But yeah,
Yeah.
and then I think the steak, rice, everything's just better.
Is this
Chipotle.
better?
But then the queso,
That
queso will give it to
you
Qdoba.
go always
Okay.
go back
So
to that.
I'll give them that.
And this has been the thing. So I graduated in college in 2013, and I started in 2007, 2008.
Yeah.
By the time that I look back on my college career and when I used to always eat,
Yeah.
it was the queso that was the
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah.
Yes, the
That's
queso
what I
sauce
do.
is
No, eat
key
queso.
over. But I still want
yeah.
that Chipotle NIL deal. So don't mind me. We're going to block this out.
Cop
So
him one.
yeah.
Real quick.
see, you know that people your parents' age and our age had it tough because those places didn't even exist. You wanted a burrito,
Yeah,
it
you
was
had
Taco
to-
Bell. That was the only
it.
choice you
Taco
had. There was no other place to get a burrito. That's what
funny.
we had it tough, man. Walk me through the Colorado. I talked to Christian Jones about being at that Colorado game and the emotions of it. What was it like for you?
Okay, because you guys, as you know with me, I grew up a diehard Nebraska fan. It's
Sure.
really because my dad.
So
sent
you
me
go
on the
by
camera.
Eric Crouch's shrine every day then?
Yeah, actually, I do.
Okay.
I walk right by it.
Come on, man. Legend.
Everyone messes with me about it. They tell me I should get a plaque someday. So me and Pierce. So
You
I
should,
was-
bro.
I was
No,
like-
definitely.
I was
No,
like,
hey, it's a
maybe.
goal. You can be a humble
Win a
beast.
state
Yeah.
title.
That's the plan.
There you go.
So, but thanks to my dad, like I'd wake up every Saturday morning, and we'd either have an early game or late game, and he'd just be like, be ready to go. He'd be tense and everything, like he always is, because he lifts like crazy.
Yep.
And then, so he introduced me to that, and then my brother carried on to it,
Yeah.
and so now it's on to me. And like, obviously the Colorado game. So I told people it was like that 2014 Miami game.
You did. I heard you say that.
Where
Miami game,
they all came in and stuff like that. And it was just absolute war. So
Were you 6 back then?
I was.
But when you were a football fan,
I was
you
8.
remember.
Oh, you were 8.
I was 8 years old.
Okay, you're 8. Okay.
So, but yeah, we had season tickets, so I went to that game. I was at the Hail Mary with Jordan Westerkamp. Like I was at all that. So that was
that Miami
awesome.
game didn't start till like 9. You had that 10-year-old out there. Oh man.
This dude is funny.
But it was funny though, because like during warm-ups, all of it, like, because a lot of the recruits were all just like Nebraska kids. And we just grew up like that. So like we were
lit.
We were in the Shadura.
Yeah.
To
Oh yeah, that's all
Colorado.
you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I thought, like, I was like, I don't want many people to see that. Then after the post game, I see Coach Knight just walk up to the camera and just hit
And
the
do
shit.
it.
Whatever.
Yeah,
The
right.
locker room, the whole locker room was
Whole
doing it
locker room
too.
was
Yeah.
doing it. Yeah, so
Right.
that was awesome. But
So
yeah.
I got 2 questions, 2-part. You can get all these individual accolades, but what does it mean for you to win the state championship before you go?
Well, I'll tell you, that's something I've never experienced. I can't really give you a good answer. But if it did happen, which my mind's set on it, like, I'd probably cry. Because when we were in 8th grade, we won a championship, like, as a group. And that was, like, there wasn't really, like, kids going to school. Not saying it's a bad thing, but, like, if we pulled it off.
It's a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's a bad thing.
He said it for me. But
Yeah, it's a bad thing.
if we pulled it off as a group, I think that'd be the last thing that we needed. Because we, like, the past few years where we've had losing records, and, like, last year started 0-4, and we were preseason number 4, so it looked bad. And then, like, this year, it's just, like, this was our, like, revenge year. We were like, we got Coach Burrell, and we can maybe get it done now. So that's our plan.
You don't have to call anybody out, but you mentioned it. And he mentioned it.
Yeah.
Does that bother you when you see super teams being formed or folks leaving, good teams to go form a better team?
I think it's not the end of the world until, like, teams start getting, like, 10 plus, like 8 to 10 plus kids in the offseason.
Right.
That's when it kind of changes a little
Yeah,
bit.
I know one of those teams.
I think that
It's a different direction than where your team is.
when people transfer, I don't know if it's because they want to actually win
Yeah.
or they don't like the coach that they're at.
That, yeah.
both, yeah.
It could be both, but like, what do you think it is more?
I think, well, also kids want to get recruited. That's the biggest thing.
Yep.
So they want to go to school. Because
Yeah, okay.
my brother told me this from day one. He said, if you look at the teams like Georgia, I think it was last year or the year before, he's like, if you look at them, they had like, 6 or 7 guys go in the first round. He's like, so the best, so the next level is going to look at the best team first before looking at any other team. So
Unless you just do something astronomically
Yeah.
crazy
unless
like
you-
Eric Crouch.
Yeah, unless you pull Eric Crouch.
Yeah.
Or
there you go.
the running back for Central. I mean, he's
Oh,
gonna,
yeah,
he's gonna
yeah,
stand
yeah,
out no
yeah,
matter
for
what,
sure.
right? Because he
Yeah.
put up those kind of numbers.
That's true.
But no, I know what you mean. I've watched it, and over these 24 years or 22 years I've been here in the state, it's really changed the way the game is played. Obviously. So you commit to Nebraska April of last year.
Yeah.
That's it feels really early to me. Why'd you make that decision? Why'd you pull the trigger?
Well, so I sat down with Coach Rule. I'm like, I told him, I was like, I want to do this. And because I asked him, I didn't know if it was allowed at first.
He hadn't even been there that long, right?
So you
just got there and
you
like
always
it
wanted
was-
to be a Husker?
It was, okay, yeah, well, yeah, it was that. But also, like, I took 3 visits. So there was a spring period where I went for the fall practice, or the spring practice. So it was Northwestern Wisconsin and I think Iowa. And I was like, so, okay, I was not too far, but I said to myself, I'm like, okay, Northwestern, I'm like, listen, I love Chicago. Chicago's great. Like, we have friends who live up there. But, like,
better than Boston. That much.
but listen, I'll tell you this, though. I was like, it just didn't seem right. Like, Madison, Wisconsin. Is that where they're at?
They're in Madison, yeah. It's
yeah.
a mad town, they call it.
I was just like, I didn't feel that. It was also super cold when we took that visit. And
It's-
I'm like,
I
It's
would
like-
not
it's
want
like
you going
worse
there
than
for your
Nebraska.
parents.
Yeah.
That place is
yeah,
wild.
It's tough.
I
but
would not want you in Madtown.
Yeah.
I
I feel you.
it was just like, I got to be in Lincoln. Like, everybody knew it. Like, I knew it when I first got the offer. Like, everybody knew I'd be a Nebraska kid eventually.
Right.
It's just a matter of time.
So were there people that was against that? Like, man, like, you ain't going to play or?
So you'll hear that whenever you commit, like, especially if you're not like a highly rated recruit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm only like a 3-star, but I mean, gratefully I am. Like, cause like some
I
kids,
know what you mean.
Some kids like don't have it. Like my buddy Colin, like he should at least be going to FCS. I've told people that forever.
Yeah.
But I mean, thing is with him, he's not like the only thing he struggles with is he says like I'll let coaches come to me. And the hardest thing about recruiting nowadays is you got to
especially with the
you gotta go get it.
social media, man. You got to tell
Yeah.
them jokes or whatever it does to get attention. Yeah, bro.
I mean, look at
That's why I made you tell me you're a Chipotle. Man.
we were talking about transfers. You know, Prince was out there essentially wasn't catching a lot of balls, so he wants to go
bounced.
someplace where you can
He
catch balls.
bounced.
I mean,
I
Jalen
knew
Lloyd
he-
did the same
yeah.
thing. Remember?
Yeah.
And
Same
look
thing,
at him
yeah.
now.
Yep.
You know?
That's how it works.
I do remember seeing the offseason there was an article written and it just said Jalen's gonna spend his senior year at West. I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the way it works sometimes. Who you mentioned other teams that offered. Was there somebody, whether in the coaching staff or whatever, that stood out to you among those schools?
so at like Nebraska or any other school.
Yeah, any other school outside of Nebraska.
So I'll tell you, obviously, here's what I will say, and every Nebraska fan could hate me for saying this. Honestly, I wouldn't care.
NIL.
If you look at Iowa and you look at not Kirk Ferentz, Phil Parker.
Oh, great defensive coordinator.
He's a great defensive coordinator, great defense. He produces all defensive backs, and that's where I was going. I sat down with him.
Yeah.
And I just had a good talk with him. LeVar Woods, obviously.
LeVar Woods is a good recruiter.
And the funniest thing, LeVar Woods is probably one of the funniest coaches I've ever met. So I'll give him that. And he obviously knows what he's doing. He's great with special teams too. So, yeah, they kind of stood out to me too. But then ultimately, when I came back home, it was like a 4-hour drive, and I was just telling my dad, I'm like, let's be real. If I went to Iowa, I was like, it just wouldn't sit right with me. So I was just like, I got to be in Lincoln. And obviously, Coach Foley's been great to me. Coach Cooper obviously was good, and then Coach Butler is just great, just as great.
Yeah.
So, and then Coach Knighton's actually funny. He's actually a big Celtics fan, so we only talk about basketball.
I don't like him anymore either.
Me
now.
and Coach Rule, he's great to me. So like ever since I've been down there, it's just like a brotherhood. So,
Coach Rule's a Knicks fan.
You know, it's
Fortunate for
something
him.
random. I was at church, and after church, I turned around and I talked to Matt Rule's parents.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I did.
That's
It was
This
cool.
is
Last Sunday.
It's a
Sunday.
small town, man. This
Yeah.
is a small to see
Random.
everybody.
It was random. It was cool though.
Yeah. So where do you see yourself fitting in that 3-3-5? Because I mean, obviously you're going to get bigger. I see the size of your dad. You're going to get bigger.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself
Were
fitting?
you 17 though?
No, I just turned 18.
Oh,
18
okay.
months
Now,
ago,
yeah.
yeah.
All right.
So they said Rover for me. That's what they're
Oh yeah,
thinking.
sure. So what gift kind of played?
Yep.
Yeah.
And somebody has kind of mentioned slot corner, but they said probably not because they want me to fit the run more. So they just
Word.
be Rover. That's where Isaac Gifford kind of is.
Who's some people that you tap in with, like that's on the team now,
So
to get you prepared for what's coming? For you?
me and Caleb Benny are good buddies.
He's a good kid.
Caleb's a good
we,
kid,
We
man.
played together we played against each other in high school. We kind of knew each other from then. Me and Donovan Jones ran track together, and we kind of talked to each other.
Omaha North.
What you run in track?
I ran 11:02. It was my first year running. I made the state prelims.
Oh,
so
yes.
it wasn't like the
No,
best, but
no,
coach.
You
yeah.
hadn't run before.
Yeah,
I
no,
never-
that's
That's
immaculate, bro.
practice and getting
Yeah.
a routine and
For sure, you're just an athlete,
And,
Rover.
and Jalen
That's
had
it.
the
See what I'm
parents that
saying?
coach you. Yeah.
I was more of a football fast kind of guy too.
Put pads on. Let's race with pads
Coach
on.
Burrell told me that too. He said just watching me.
It is a difference. A lot of
it's
people
a
don't
huge
understand
difference.
that.
Put the pads on and run.
Yeah.
And put a ball in a guy's hand.
Yeah.
See if you catch him then.
Yeah, I remember Cheetah was saying that he was faster than who? Somebody that was.
Oh, you're
running
saying
track.
Bolt.
Oh, he was tripping, but
He was crazy.
But football fast and track fast
Yeah,
are
it's
two
different.
different
It's
things.
different.
That's my
Yeah,
point.
Yeah, you're completely right.
He was crazy.
Josh was asking about players that are already down there, but let's talk about your 2025 class. And I'm going to use the wrong phrase because I'm 55 years old. You got a text thread or like a Snapchat thread or
Snapchat.
something that you guys all
We have a group chat.
group chat on
Yeah,
what is it?
group
On
chat.
just group? Or?
Just Snapchat.
Okay, whatever. I don't have that. So kind of talk about how that works and like you guys keeping in touch. And who are you closest to?
On the team, I'm probably closest to. Well, there's like a few. So like my buddy Henry, I grew up with. We actually sat right next to each other in first grade.
Word.
So, and then like kind of that, and then my buddy Aiden, who's our starting receiver, we hang out all the time. Like there's a lot of guys on the team we just always hang out. Like,
But I mean, from the 2025 class going to Nebraska.
Oh,
do
that's what you're
do
talking
you
about.
have a group chat?
Oh
Snap,
yeah, we
whatever?
have the same. Yeah, so we do. And then
Snap
it's
face.
just everyone kind of in it. Pierce is in it. Christian's in it.
Nice.
Like basically all the commits. I think the only one, I think Bear Tenney is hard to get in it because we can't really.
He got an
reach out to
Android.
him.
That's all right.
Yeah, it's probably it. Honestly.
Yeah.
Hey.
I'm just
But
keeping it real.
it's
He got
hard.
an
Been
Android.
in Boston at my
Next time you
Android.
see him, ask him.
There is some kids that are hard to reach out to because they don't really use their phone that much, which
Sure.
you can't really blame them for
Right.
that.
Yeah.
But-
I had a friend that said if you buy an Android, you get a free roll of toilet paper.
Look, man, during COVID, we didn't have toilet paper, so that'd been good.
That's fine.
So every time I read about you, right, or listen to anybody talk about you, or I ask people about you, they always talk about your defensive instincts. Was that something that you immediately had? You felt like that, or is that something you worked on? Because instincts usually are something that you're obviously born with, but playing defense, how did you get to the point where people talk about your instincts?
Well, it's funny. My career started with offense. If you want to be honest, like
I told him before you came in.
It took a lot of beatings from my brother, I'd say, to like kind of want to start hitting on defense. I wasn't a huge hitter.
Oh, I feel you.
Like when I was younger, but then as I hit high school, like especially going to like Coach Petito's system, you gotta learn how to hit.
Yeah.
Especially on offense and defense. So that's kind of what happened with me. And then over time, I just used my speed, and then kind of just
It didn't work out.
Yeah, it just worked out.
Who's some players in the NFL or just in general that you model your game after?
Well, I'd like to like cover like Kyle Hamilton. I'd say that's who I would like to be eventually.
Such a versatile player.
But gosh, it's hard. Like obviously you like watching highlights of dudes like Jamal Adams. I actually really like Christian Gonzalez because he can cover. Like I think he's gonna be a top 5 corner eventually. Apparently he might be already.
Right.
Well, look when he was hurt.
Yeah.
Last year, the Patriots. Look how he played. Look how they played. I mean, so you're right.
Yeah. So you try to look up the people that you actually can see yourself being. Stuff like that. I respect that.
You just gotta work really hard. That's why I stand by. Just work as hard as you can.
Yeah. You got an all-time favorite football player?
Tom Brady.
Respect.
I was a New England fan.
It's everything about you.
He might say something crazy. You never know.
I've never disliked Tom Brady. This is my line, right? I always say, don't blame other people for your mistakes.
No.
Be better than your mistakes.
Respect.
And every day he worked to be better. I admire. We see the guy at the combine. He was a little skinny dude who couldn't run. And he became the greatest quarterback of all time. I give him all the respect in the world.
Julian Edelman is very gritty.
Incredibly gritty. All those wide receivers.
That's what I love about those New England.
Yeah, all those. Wes Welker was gritty. All those guys were. No doubt about that. What was the first sport that your dad got you in or your mom got you in? What was the first one you played?
I think it was it baseball?
Soccer? Was it soccer?
Oh, it was soccer.
You was weak.
They always make us. He wasn't. They always
good,
make
was
us. There's nothing like going to 4-year-old
Mom was
soccer.
like, I gotta get this guy out.
4-year-old soccer. Everybody's like this. Everybody's
weak.
going this. This is rough.
Sorry, bro.
4-year-old soccer. I don't drink. I almost started drinking. 4-year-old soccer was bad.
Speaking of your parents, though, kind of talk about. I'm a young dad, right? I'm 35. I got 2 kids. Yeah. Seeing your parents here is huge for me.
Yeah.
Talk about your parents' support and the dynamics of it. Like I know for me, basketball is my thing. So my son, hopefully, he'll play basketball.
Yeah.
My wife got her sentiments that she'll say, but it's me and him.
Yeah.
What's the dynamics of your parents? Talk about their support and talk about them today supporting you going to college.
Go ahead, make her cry. Go ahead.
It's my parents have like been there, done that for me for everything. So my dad's like obviously played football his whole life. And obviously my mom can't what's the word for that? Connect with that. But like my mom, she gave birth to me. She like raised me from like forever, and they always took care of me. Always made sure I always had like food on the dinner table. Always gave me a great roof over my head. Like
somebody got you to practice.
Yeah, always got me to practice.
Somebody got you.
Usually my dad.
How did you get introduced to football?
So it was my dad being kind of psycho on.
He was like, "Come here, you
Sundays.
soft. Come here."
So it was kind of like that, but also it's actually one of the. It's a family quote that I've heard.
Okay.
So my great grandpa died when I was like 6 or something. I was kind of close to him at the time, and I didn't really get to know him.
So your dad's.
No, my
dad
my mom's grandpa.
Got you.
Yeah.
Following you.
So but I was in the backyard. I was always the little kid that like kind of wanted to play with the older kids, and like because my brother, he was 5 years older than me, and like. That's the one who obviously helped me like get physical and stuff. But we'd play football in the backyard, and it was like a ton of neighborhood kids like just down the street. And I guess my great grandpa said I was like always trying to like what did he say? He said something like I was always trying to like I was a scrapper.
Scrappy.
That's what he told me.
Scrappy too.
I feel you.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know what that.
So they knew it was in you.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of introducing it to you. Respect.
Caden Vermaas joining us here on the Let It Fly show. Some rapid fire things, and we hit some of these already. But do you have a video game system that you are a primary player of?
So I've actually been on both sides, PlayStation and Xbox.
Both
so
of them.
Right now I'm on Xbox.
Okay.
Man, okay.
And which Xbox do you have?
Xbox. It's the newest one, Series X.
Okay.
I think is what it's called.
Yeah, my kid switched over to PlayStation 5, and I have no idea what's happening. I was like, I don't know. Give me this. What does controller do? I don't know what it is. I don't know what this does. I can't even do this. What's your favorite video game?
Probably Madden.
Is that the one you beat the most people at? Or the one you like the most?
So actually, that's the one I beat the most people at. But also UFC 4. Oh, really? UFC 4 is fun. You just knock dudes out.
Yeah,
it's fun.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. You kind of asked his favorite fast food place to go eat. Like, if it's one place you go eat, is it Chipotle?
If it's
Man, you supposed to push that NIL narrative.
If it's not
Come on,
Chipotle,
man.
Yeah, if it's not Chipotle.
if
son is
it's
tripping.
not Chipotle, it's McDonald's. It's gotta
Really?
be McDonald's.
Do you have the app on your phone?
I actually don't. I have the Chipotle app.
Hey,
though.
I'm
the
going
app,
to
the
tell you, I
McDonald's
got
app,
a
a lot of
bone
free
to pick
stuff.
with
I
McDonald's,
hardly.
man.
That's the thing. I've
a lot of free stuff.
limited how much McDonald's I've eaten as I gotten older. Though.
Man,
It's
it's
maybe after
It's
a
on,
game.
when you turn 35, if you don't play football, it's going to sit right on your gut, brother. I'm
Yeah,
just tell you
bro.
now.
I mean, not everybody looks like
yeah.
your dad. Okay, I know that. That's not how. We're not all like that. Yeah. No, not at all. No.
That's funny.
So if it's not Chipotle, you still hit it occasionally on McDonald's.
No. Well, actually, it's Panda, but also
Oh,
McDonald's.
Panda Express.
But I have a good order from there too.
Tell me
What's
what you
that?
order. What
Come
you
on,
order.
man.
Let's see
It's
what you order.
NIL, right here.
It's double grilled teriyaki chicken and just
Yeah.
white rice and super greens. So it's like perfect.
Yeah, I don't get the
Perfect,
rice, but I get the double super greens.
Yeah.
And the double teriyaki
Good
chicken.
carbs.
All right, so now
Yeah,
I got a
greens.
rapid fire.
Yeah, that's good.
Chipotle or Panda?
Chipotle.
Ooh, he said number one is so if
Okay.
one drink that you could have, not water, because everybody wants to say water. I don't want to put the water.
Dude, it's funny,
what's
man.
what's the drink? What's the you gotta have a drink? What is it?
Dr Pepper.
Respect.
Dr. Pepper.
Dr.
We talked about that.
Dr. Pepper, yeah.
Yeah.
So you just scored the biggest TD of your career, right? You're walking off the field. Mom's there, dad's there.
Who you hugging first?
Who you hugging first?
I'm about to say, don't
Probably
fuck this up.
usually I will say after every game now I hug my mom first.
Because you made it. That's
Well,
why.
that's why.
Like
And
your
also
dad
my-
got you to where you need to go.
My
I
dad's-
respect that.
He's
Yeah,
more
I
just like a
respect
high fiver.
Yeah,
he
okay,
can
yeah.
be a hugger.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it depends.
I'm
Yeah.
like you, man. We
Yeah.
should hang out after this.
Yeah, no, hey, listen, we always would joke about it growing up because they'd put the camera on the football player and he'd be like, "Hi, Mom," and nobody ever said, "Hi, Dad." It was always just, "Hi, Mom." You know why? Dinner.
Yeah.
That's why. Because of dinner. That was just
funny.
always. All right, last thing for you, what's your goal? Give me your goal when you look forward. Say you're 5 years down the road or whatever. You have a goal that you want to accomplish?
I would say, well, bringing Nebraska back is probably one of the biggest things.
There you go.
And
It's starting, too.
Obviously,
You
obviously,
just keep it going.
You can't do it as a single player. You like obviously Dylan Rhodes is great, but he's got to
Unless you Cam
gotta
Newton.
help.
Unless you Cam Newton.
So, or yeah,
That's a pretty good year.
but like that's why I was so happy about the Coach Rule hire is he will send guys to the NFL too. So obviously every kid wants to go to the NFL.
Facts.
Sure. But I've told people like I'd love to go to the NFL, but I also want to like succeed in the NFL because there's those guys that say like I want to make the NFL, but like what do you want to do when you
Well,
get
what's
there?
his line, right? Second contract. He always talks about we can get you to the NFL, but you have to get yourself to a second contract. So
Right.
he always says that.
Respect, bro.
And that's
That's how
the
you
best
make your
thing
money.
is that whole staff. They've been in the NFL, they've been there, done that, and seen it. A lot of guys played in the NFL too.
Yeah. Especially
So
John Butler there. I mean, that guy,
Yeah.
he's been a coordinator. He's been around the Buffalo
he's
Bills.
been everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, and
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing. And I trust all of them to get me because they've obviously if they've been there,
Yeah.
they can probably get any of us there.
Yeah.
That's
Sure.
my
That's
plan.
awesome. That's
I'm with
awesome.
you, bro. I
Yeah.
respect
Ken,
you.
we appreciate
Yeah,
it, man.
good luck, sir.
Good
Good
luck the
luck.
rest of
Thank
the
you so
season.
much.
Stay healthy.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Thank you.
sir, man. Good to meet you.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks a
Thank
lot. All right, welcome back. We appreciate Caden Vermaas for coming on with us.
And I try to tell people when this come back, it's going to be gone because I'm going to eat it.
Yeah. Yeah, we all had a little bit of it. We are going to be advocating for the Let It Fly Sports Bar to bring back the Flight of Wings.
Yeah. You heard it here first.
So if are there 5 different flavors or 6?
Excuse me.
So 6 different flavors. You want to go 2 each? That's 12 wings. You could do it.
And we
Make it
gonna
happen,
call
Captain.
it the Josh Jones something
Let's-
because that's my go-to right now.
Let's make it definitely a flight for whatever the first part is, and then the last part is flight of
sure.
wings.
Yeah.
Like when people go to a place and they get a flight of whiskey.
Right.
Whiskey.
Yeah.
They do that as well.
Hey, have you ever drank a suicide drink?
Oh yeah. Oh, when I drank. Oh yeah. Well, so when I was growing up, a suicide was when you went to the vending machine
Yeah.
and you put
My dad put me on to that.
Yeah, yeah, suicide, yeah.
One time my dad was in the car. We went to McDonald's. He was like, "Hey, son, go in there and give me a suicide." I said, "You want me to go kill myself?" I swear, a true story. And then he just laughed and was like, "No, just go in there and ask for suicide."
Yeah.
And I seen the lady doing this,
Yeah.
and I was thinking like, my dad about to be pissed.
So they
But
only
he came outside and was like,
they
and
only
drank
used
it.
to be when I was growing up. There was only 4. So Diet Coke didn't exist when I was growing up.
Let
They
me
had Tab.
wait, hold on. Let me tell you.
Okay.
So it was probably a root beer, probably a cola, probably like a Sprite.
Right, didn't exist.
Okay, it wasn't Sprite.
7 Up.
7 Up. Sorry, 7 Up. And the last was orange. Yes, I'm right.
So there was no orange.
Oh damn!
You had to be in a special neighborhood to get the orange. They had orange. So
I'm close.
Here's what was they had Coke,
Okay.
they had Pepsi, they had 7 Up,
Word.
and they had a root beer. And usually the root beer was
I
A&W.
know something like that.
It was
A&W, yeah.
That was root beer. That's all you had.
Yep.
And then Tab came along. That was your first diet soda.
Yep.
And then Tab moved over to Diet Coke.
Right.
And now you have a million flavors.
It's crazy. Now you're talking about Starry.
Yeah, so that took over for, what was that called?
Sierra
Mist.
Mist.
Yeah. Here's something.
That's like Genesis Health Club buying out 24-hour fitness.
Let me tell you something I hate. I hate when you go into a restaurant and you order your drink and they go, is Pepsi okay? If Pepsi was okay, I would have ordered them.
Yeah.
I did not order it. I ordered a Coke.
Yeah.
And that's what I want.
Yeah. Hey, I really never.
You want a Sprite? No.
I've never
Sierra
asked,
Mist,
like,
okay?
can
No.
I get a Pepsi? I've never asked. Now, if it was there with pizza, I'd eat it. But, like, I've never said, hey, can I get Pepsi?
The only thing.
Wild Cherry Pepsi is hit, though.
My wife loves that one.
Man.
I buy that for her. The one
right.
thing you specify that I've learned, Mountain Dew. People specify Mountain Dew or Dr. Pepper.
What you mean? Like,
they say, I want Dr. Pepper or I want Mountain Dew.
Is
Like, people
Mountain
will
Dew
say,
better than Coke?
what kind of soda do you have? Well, I think for younger people, Mountain Dew definitely is. Give you much more energy. Sugar
man,
and
my Creighton
caffeine.
teammate, he built a mountain of Mountain Dew.
I believe it.
With cans. I was like, bro, you ain't going to have no
The
teeth.
reason why Nebraska has Pepsi products is because back in like late 1990s, they let the students vote.
Word.
And they voted for Mountain Dew, thus making them have to have Pepsi.
Who voted?
The students.
Okay.
Yeah, they let all the students vote, and especially during that time, people were killing Mountain Dew back then. And so we didn't know any better.
That's a good idea. Let's run that back, right? Like, that's
revote.
a great idea.
Bring back Coke.
Bring back Coke.
I like Coke Zero.
But not the Coke with the Pablo
like
Coke
cherry.
when he put the Coke inside the Coke.
No, Pablo Escobar
Okay.
Coke. No.
Yeah, because
no,
that's what they was doing. It was so much Coke they was putting it.
So so way back in the 1920s, 30s, and 40s,
Right.
The formula for making Coca-Cola actually included the cocoa bean, which is in a form of cocaine.
Right.
And so my grandmother, Mildred,
Was the Coke
was
dealer? I'm just
obsessed. No, she was obsessed with it.
Word.
And then later in life, they
found out
they
that
found
it's
out
an
why.
addiction.
That's
It's-
why
no,
so
yeah,
many
yeah.
people were.
I was joking, but that's
they were-
real.
It was true. They were
Yeah, that's
cracking on
real.
it, man.
They
They
were
were like,
cracking.
I gotta have it.
So you trying to say your grandma was a fiend?
She's feeding for Coca-Cola, man. She was feeding for Coca-Cola.
This is funny, dude.
coming up next week, I don't know, but I believe that we're going to have a very special guest.
Yeah.
Because I know he's in town, and I know Phil, executive producer Phil McLean, has talked to him.
Good.
So I think we're going to make it happen.
Let's go, Phil.
It'll be a very special guest. I'll be very excited for it.
Great.
Again, special thanks to Caden Vermaas
Thank
for
you,
coming
bro.
on with us.
Appreciate you.
Val King Elvis for running the whole thing, making sure it works fine.
Yes, sir.
Meg taking the photos, getting the photos to me, and then putting the stuff on the social media.
Great job,
We
man.
appreciate that as well. And we want to, of course, thank our presenting sponsor.
And thank you.
And what's your name? McKenna? Yeah. You just go by Kenna, though? Yeah. Okay, I like that. So
Put some respect on my name.
McKenna/Kenna here, too. Thank you very much for doing
Best
that.
friend.
Also, thank you. Yeah, Meg's best friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know people had those anymore. Bud Light, thank you very much for being our presenting sponsor, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing.
Right.
No matter if you're watching football, basketball, volleyball, hockey, soccer. I wouldn't watch soccer, but if you want to watch soccer, do it. Have yourself a Bud Light while you are doing it.
Right.
Easy to drink and easy to enjoy.
Right.
Also, subscribe to our YouTube page. If you've been watching all this time, you probably already are. But tell somebody, tell a friend. Say, hey, subscribe to this YouTube page. These two guys talk sports and other stuff, and it's fun. It's fun. And if you're going to go to Let It Fly Sports Bar and you want to know about the food, we talk about the food every week, too.
And we eat it.
And we definitely eat it as well. If you're listening to the podcast, like and subscribe to that
Please.
as well. Josh, take us away.
Hey, Josh Jones here with Michael Zavir. You know how we do it. It's a Let It Fly show.